Good evening and welcome to another video by me, Gav. It's going to be hopefully quite a quick one, and it's going to be a third update on my Seafire build. Last video was a bit talky. I was in front of the camera this time rather than behind it. But I probably won't do very many of them. I wasn't particularly happy with it. It's hard because I don't have, as I keep telling you, I don't have a proper camera. I just use my iPhone. If I try and sit in front of the camera using the main camera, I can't see the screen, so I can't tell for sure if I'm in shot, if it's in focus, because I'm in autofocus, so I can't, I could easily spend the entire thing half out of frame and out of focus. So I use the front camera sometimes for that, but it's really bad quality and it picks up the light and makes it all jitter, and like when you watch a monitor through a TV, like through a camera, and you have to hold models up to it and stuff. So anyway, this is easier. So that said, here is the Seafire. Last time you saw it, it was probably in bits, as a separate fuselage and wing. That is still separate. I've just placed it on for now, and as you can see, it's a good fit. I mean, you can. It's that good. It sits okay. Obviously, I shook it a bit there. But what I mean though is that when it goes together, I shouldn't need to fill along the wing roots there. So what have I done since the last video? Well, I have given it a coat of clear. And washed the panel lines. It looks a little bit streaky here because there's some matte areas where I've obviously cleaned away the wash from the panel lines, but under a final matte coat, which it will have, or a satin coat maybe, probably matte, then hopefully that should all even out. But so it's had a black panel line wash. The glare, there we go, that's a bit better focus, so you can see there. Looks quite good on the upper wing surfaces there. I did notice there's a little bit of chipping there, which is where some paint's come away, so I'll need to touch that up, but thankfully that seems to be the only spot. And here's the underside. Now I'm really pleased with this. I mean, this is quite stark, so this is maybe not hugely representative of what a real aircraft would look like. Now, obviously panel lines on them are never quite as defined as this, because obviously they should be relatively close together. There shouldn't be big gaps between the panels on an actual aircraft. But with the pre-shading and the wash, I think that's worked really well. I've dirtied up the wheel wells. They're maybe a little dirty, so I might give them a quick dry brush back with the base colour, and maybe a little bit of kind of silvery chipping in there just to bring that back. And let's see if I can get this to, there we go. So you can see the identification lights or navigation. Well, I can't be navigation because I'm on the underside, but anyway, the lights or lenses, whatever they are, that are on the bottom there. I bought it to me a clear green and orange to do that with. I already had the red, so I'm quite glad I did that. It's turned out pretty well. That's pretty cool. The wheel struts have had a black wash as well, and the wheels have been painted. So what next is I probably will do a little bit. I think you got quite a bit of oil streaking on the real ones from this. You might not see it much because there's drop tanks in the way, so I'll do a little bit of oil streaking probably under there. Other than that, I'll probably keep it relatively clean. I might do a little bit of leading edge chipping, and that'll maybe be about it for the wings. Fuselage, the spinner is painted. The actual colour call out for this particular model, which is a plane based on HMS Triumph in 47 around Malta, I think, calls for a spinner in the same colour as the underside. But I thought I needed a bit of colour other than those two main ones, so I thought I'll make the spinner yellow. Maybe it's the squadron leader or something. Props being painted. I need to do the yellow tips still. The exhausts were painted in bulk metal and had a wash of black, and then the devil mud. I still got the old washes, so it's giving them a nice kind of dirty, grimy appearance. I may stick a couple of little kind of rust spots on there with some Vermin Brown from Games Workshop range. Works pretty well for that actually. Just dilute that down, put a few wee spots, and it dries quite matte. That works quite well, so I might just do a little bit, but it's quite bright, so I might tone it down a little. I've added the pilot. We shall call him Bob. He's not going to focus. There we go. It looks like quite a tight fit, but this is the pilot that came with the kit. So, and he, as far as I am aware, he is sitting right down in the cockpit. As you can see in the bottom there, he is. You can see his foot there, so he is right in. I've got some blue touch removed from where I had it on a stick. His head is a bit high above the headdress, but maybe we'll use a tall pilot. I've got the gun sight to add, and the canopies. I would have put the canopy on, the front canopy on first maybe, but obviously then it sits quite far forward, so I wouldn't have been able to paint this area here, so I'll stick that on next. It looks quite high, but I put the canopy over to check it, and he does fit in, so that's fine. And the rest of the fuselage, again the fuselage just had the wash as well. I think I had to touch up a wee spot there, so hopefully under back coat that all. And the few panel lines there are being washed, and on the tail there. And the rivets all around the front as well, they've picked up the wash really well. So I've just got to do some exhaust staining along the sides. I'll do a little bit of chipping on the leading edges of the wings and leading edges there, just a little touch, couple of silver spots just to add a little bit of difference. Canopy's got to go on, gun sight's got to go in, wings and fuselage got to be glued together, and then it's almost done. Then I'll decal it and matte coat it. Now I had my Hispano cannon barrels turn up the other day, so they've got to be added into the wings and painted as well. These are really nice. See if this works. Anyway, hopefully you can see the ends are all detailed, so they will. They'll go in there like that. The holes are a little bit big, so I might need to kind of fill the holes a little bit first, and then stick them in so that they fill the holes up a bit better. Either that, or I'll maybe just leave it, but we'll see. But they look quite good, so they've got to go in and be painted as well. The canopies, as you can see, it's quite clear. I did actually future this one. I gave it a go again. I gave it one last go, and actually it's worked out really well this time. So actually, yeah, you can see the advantage of doing it. And there's the front one. There's an armour plate to go in there. It's another clear part. It sits just behind the windshield, so I've got to add that as well. So it sits there like that, and I'm going to have this model coming into land, and I believe that quite often the Navy pilots actually open their canopies as they were coming into land. And the thing is, because these planes had a habit of tipping forward as they hit the deck. If they missed the hooks, you'd slam the brakes on, and the whole thing would tip on its nose or whatever. So I think they probably often opened the canopies while they were coming into land, so that if they need to get out quickly, they could. So yeah, this is coming on for 10 minutes now, so I'll stop that there. But this is just another update on the Seafire, and hopefully maybe the next one you'll see will actually be finished. As always, go and check out internationalscalemodeler.com. We've got the World War II Group Build has started now, so it's anything from World War II. Go and join in that. I'm going to be doing monogram JU87B. D, sorry. So once this is finished, that'll be the next series of videos you see. And I'm contemplating using my GoPro to film some of the build steps, not as a tutorial, just to film some of the build steps. And what I'm going to maybe do is just speed that up and add a voiceover to it, rather than because the microphone on the GoPro is awful, frankly, and it doesn't have a zoom, it doesn't have a screen. So again, if I know that I set it up relatively close, everything should hopefully be in focus. and I'll just speed it up and do a voiceover and bits of music or something. Maybe we'll give that a go, see how that works. So until the next one, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you either here or on the forum. Thanks very much. Bye.